breath. There we go, recording in progress. So this is a beginner's guide to Reels with a little bit of strategy thrown in. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do the slideshow. So creating Instagram Reels for beginners. So Reels are basically, I think for me, when I first heard the word reel, I associated it with all sorts of stuff. You know, there were people doing all these stupid pointy things and, you know, all sorts of other ridiculous stuff, which is not ridiculous because it does work. But a reel essentially is just one thing, and that is a short video. That's all it is. Any type of short video, it's just a posh new name for video, short video content. That is a reel. And right now it is the best strategy for growth, simply because of the algorithm. Instagram is putting these reels in front of everybody probably before the grid content. So it will, Instagram will curate that constant, you know, that constant flow of reels that you are consuming and watching, and it will serve those reels to the people who are going to be consuming similar content. So you'll notice, like with Facebook, you know, the algorithm serves you similar types of content. You know, for example, I was obsessed by Johnny Depp and Amber Heard the other week, and I got served every single bloody reel about Amber Heard. So that basically, in a nutshell, is how reels are working right now. They're at the forefront. It's, you know, Instagram's a step behind TikTok. Facebook has, you know, you can now make reels on them. So reels are the thing of the moment. And as I said, it's the best way to gain new followers if you use it properly. So there are two types of content creators in Girl About, certainly. There's the Girl About ambassador, the Girl About, the lady who loves to create content and she loves to share it with her audience, and she likes the invites and the freebies. So it's really important that she creates impactful content. And then there's the other lady who's on the next level that actually wants to make some money from this. She might want to make a business out of content. Somebody like Jenny, for example, is a perfect example of the content creator that wants to make money. So she really has to focus on a slightly higher level of content in terms of how valuable it is, how shareable it is. And basically not just creating lovely content that people want to consume, but content that businesses and people actually want to share, and that businesses can see as being valuable over and above the content that they can create themselves. So that's the two. You need to decide where you fit in this, and there's no right, there's no wrong. You know, some girls will continue just to create, you know, go out and go for nice meals and go and check out that spa, etc., and create that lovely impactful content. And then the other, you know, other people like Jenny will be, you know, her vision, her mission will be to make money, and therefore you really need to start thinking about how to create that short shareable content, because we're wanting people ultimately to view it, to comment on it, to like it, and then to share it. And in number two, that sharing is really quite important. So first of all, we're going to talk very quickly about planning reels. And the number one rule with social media, with anything really, is consistency. So if you're wanting to be that number two, that lady that is creating shareable content, it's so important that you're consistent. It really is. I'm not consistent. I can't charge any money for my content on social media because I'm just not at that level of consistency. I also haven't really figured out what my niche is, although it's probably because I've not really thought about it. Certainly now I'm in Toronto. You know, my content, I'm competing with thousands, tens of thousands of bloggers here in Toronto. So I haven't really the time to be really focusing my efforts on trying to figure out a small niche and trying to be consistent with it. However, you ladies probably do need to, if you're wanting to make a business out of this. I mean, consistency should be, you know, you should be really posting 4 or 5 times a week, ideally. If you're posting at the same time every day, the algorithm's going to like you even more. And if you've nailed your niche, they're going to like you even more. So when I talk about niche, I'm talking about, you know, okay, we're women, we're blogging, we're writing, we're creating content about why we love where we live. That is essentially what we're doing. We're flying the flag for the place we call home. But is there something within that you can actually pinpoint that you could really focus on. For example, a great example of this is Ali in the Lake District. She is really into wild water swimming, and most of her content, you will see her jumping into a lake in the Lake District. Now and again, you might see something a bit different, but for the most part, her content is focused on the one thing that she loves doing in the Lake District. But also, not only does she love doing it, she's got the Lake District in the background. So it's a really good, this is amazing content for any business in the Lake District, for the Lake District Tourism Board, whoever it might be. And for any brand that is wanting to push, or you find an influencer that wants to promote wild water swimming. So for example, Ali last year was part of a campaign that we created for Austria Tourism Board. And that was a big campaign across the whole Girl About brand. And we sent her to Austria as part of our campaign to create content for Austria Tourism Board, because they were specifically focusing on promoting wild swimming and water in Austria. So she became part of our campaign, and we want to do more and more of this because, it's a really cool way of working with tourism boards. It's something completely new. And also we can create incredible content as well, especially if we have our niche. So it might be that you've got young children, it might be that you're LGBT, it might be that you're a solo traveler, somebody that does something a lot alone. It might be that you're newly married, although that niche won't obviously be there forever, because you're not going to be newly married forever, not unless you have many, many husbands, who knows, but anyway. But basically, if you can find a niche, then that is going to help you. Now, my niche when I was Girl About Yorkshire was based on the colour of clothing that I wore, and that did quite well. So I wore a lot of red. My Instagram, my wardrobe, everything became red. I drove around in a red car, and I generally didn't take a picture of myself unless I was wearing something red. And that worked really, really well. And that was my sort of brand at the time before Girl About Yorkshire then evolved into Girl About. So it could be a colour. It could be, there's so many different things it could be. But if you can think about what your niche is, then, and you can stick to that for the most part in some way. It could be that you're a foodie, you could be a vegan, a vegetarian, again, thinking about what is it that you really love? What can you focus on that brands are going to get excited about? So just have a think about that. It could be that you've got a dog. Sally in Leeds, she's got dogs. A lot of her dogs are always appearing in her content. So that's another good niche. And then, thinking about, as well as that consistency and how many times a week you can commit, think about this. I know, Natasha, I've just spoken to you about your new job. Holly, you're off doing your makeup and all of that. How often can you commit? Because if you cannot commit to 7 reels a week, there's no point committing to 7 reels a week. Commit to 3. Just be consistent and think of when you can do that, when you can do that best. There's no right or wrong in terms of you must do one every single day, but it's better to do 2 or 3 a week and be consistent with them. And that means that your audience, and when these are being served, generally the audience will start to see that pattern as well. Obviously, the more you post, the better, the quicker you're going to grow your audience, because they're going to be seeing your content all the time. But equally, that, creating content, especially real content, can be quite time consuming. I am going to give you some hacks on how to make it less time consuming in a minute. And always think about the purpose of your content. Again, who are you creating it for? You're not creating it for you, you're creating it for others. So you need to think about the value that you're bringing to them. And what ultimately, again, it sort of goes back to that niche again, about, what are you, that audience that you're creating content for? Can you continue to be consistent with that message that you're putting out there? And, you might not have a niche. Your niche might just be, I am Girl About Hertfordshire and I want to talk about everything in Hertfordshire. I don't think that it would take you more time to build up a bigger following doing it that way. But equally, if that's what you want to do, that's fine as well. Next, again, that content is just, it's absolutely king. Create lists. Start by creating lists of things that you might find useful or might be useful. So, you could just jot down a list of local pubs with roaring fires, jot down a list of local pubs with great beer gardens. Think about the time of year. Obviously, local pubs with roaring fires in the middle of August isn't really probably going to work quite as well as it might in November or December, certainly on Instagram, where the content is instant. When we go in to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, in a week or so's time, the rules are different because of how long it takes for Google to rank your blogs. But when we're talking about instant, consuming it now content on social media, you want to be thinking about what people are thinking about now. Is it a hot day? Go and post about 5 amazing outdoor Lido type swimming pools. Go post about where you can dip your feet in a river somewhere. It's a freezing cold day. What can you do inside on that day? Again, maybe look at the weather forecast for the week ahead and maybe plan, in that way, do it that way. That's always a good idea. Another good hack is to create files on your phone. So think about those things that you're wanting to promote in your area. Surrey, for example, Natasha, it could be, you could have wine vineyards folder. Have all your grapes in there, I've pictured the wine bottles, whatever it is, video clips, have them all in there. So when you come to do a reel, you can just fire them off. You could repurpose, reuse the content that's in those files. Holly in Wales, if you've got a Snowdonia file, I don't know how close to Snowdonia you are, but you might have a hiking mountains file. Keep those files and keep those pockets of content in those files, because it's going to be so much easier for you to rattle off a reel when you want to rattle one off. And don't worry about reusing content. I use content and reuse all the time. Go back and use the same stuff. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to be like, hey, you've used that before. Certainly not in something like a reel. Reuse it. Keep it there. Keep the best clips, the best photos that you have. Do not delete them. Keep them in a file and use them and repurpose them. And talking about repurposing, repurpose is, you do not need to be constantly creating new content. If you have written a blog post or a roundup, you have content there already. You can screen grab that content to make a reel. You can use the images out of that roundup to make a reel. You've got your 48 hours in, which is your first piece of content, your hero piece of content. Really, everything that you're going to talk about, certainly in the short term, should be bouncing off that 48 hours in. If you've listed your 5 favorite places to stay, you've got a reel of 5 favorite places to stay straight away. If you're talking about where to go for brunch and you've got 5 or 6 different brunch places, you've got a reel on 5 or 6 different brunch places straight away. You don't need to be reinventing the wheel. And the more you repurpose, the more consistent you become, because you're using same content over and over in different ways, whether it be long form in a blog, whether it be a grid post on Instagram where you've, savable, here's 5 places for fine dining, whether it be that reel that shoots off 5 places in less than a minute. You've got all this content. You don't need to be, certainly Laura, Natasha, as you're moving forward, I know that you are the ladies that are new to this, but you've got the content, it's all there. Go back, look through it, pull it back out. Again, yeah, this is great for Instagram stories. So Instagram stories, got myself confused there. Yeah, we don't need to be creating new content all the time. The stories, not reels, are great for new content. So stories on Instagram are great for real-time content. If you're out and about and you want to do a story, look, I'm here, then great. Same with live content. I don't do a lot of lives. I don't think anybody, I don't know, some girls do. Jenny might do them from time to time. But stories are really great for that, less edited, less perfect, less artistic content that just allows you to show where you are. What I tend to do is, like yesterday, I went to the CN Tower. I came home and I loaded all my stories today to make it look like I've been today rather than yesterday. Nobody knows, nobody cares. I don't need to spend my entire dinner on my phone. I can do it 24 hours later and make it look like it's happened then, unless of course I'm working with a brand whereby they've said, I want you to do this in real time. If if that's been stipulated, then that's different. But generally, if you're creating content and you're not under anybody's obligation, then you can do it the day after. It's absolutely fine. Just do it. And check on your insights to see when what time of day people are actually looking at your content. And again, if you don't know how to do that, let me know. Make sure your page is a business page as well, or a creator or an entrepreneur. Make sure it's not private, because again, a lot of this stuff you need to be able to, you need to have a professional page to do. And before we go on to making the reels, any questions while I breathe?
I just had a question about with the photograph thing, is it only, can you only use your own photos?
No, absolutely not. And I do actually mention this, I think, somewhere, Holly. As long as you've got permission to use a photograph, do not go and start snagging things off Google, because there's generally, I had a situation a few months ago where I got landed a £250 bill because a picture had been used off of Google. So I got, that was from Alamy, and Alamy is a bit, there's some big photo companies where you buy pictures and you've got to have a license for them. So just be really careful. Now, there are some easy rules. If a picture is on social media, you can use that picture legally. You can't be prosecuted for using it. Now, it's bad practice not to like copy them in or tag them in. But if I'm really struggling for an image, I will go to the Facebook page of said restaurant and I will look at those photos, and provided there's nobody, and same with Instagram, you can go to the page of the restaurant, and providing it looks like that image has been posted by that restaurant, fine. If it says picture courtesy of and there's somebody tagged in, then you'd have to, you'd tag them in to use it, basically.
Okay.
So, and sometimes you can't tag them in, but you just credit the name, and there might not be any link there, but at least you're showing, you're showing that you're respecting the fact that content has been created by somebody else. So it's just, but as long as you don't take anything directly off of Google, there are ways in which you can get images. You can, I mean, a great way, if you want to go and, if you're doing a roundup of, again, 5 amazing hotels in North Wales, the best thing you can do at that point is ring that hotel or send them an email and say, I am doing a roundup for Girl About, I need some images, and you're straight away on their radar. There's lots of ways to get onto these people's radars. Laura works for Visit York. She'll tell you, that just putting yourself in front of these people goes a long way.
Absolutely. No, I've just literally done a roundup for best places to dine outdoors in York, and I emailed everybody that I had a couple of pictures that I'd taken myself out and about, but no, I emailed them and I got some images, and they're no sort, well, obviously, I think it's just nice. I just sort of introduced myself and just said, I've written this roundup on dining outdoors, and it'd be great if you could send me some images, and they sent some over and they were fine with it. So it's definitely worthwhile just introducing yourself to businesses, and they also, they're all happy for the extra promotion, really. So
absolutely,
always good.
So there's generally a way to, I mean, there are the odd occasion where you're like, oh my god, I just cannot find anything, but even if you go onto the website of the place, just give them a ring or just drop them an email and saying, can I use these photos, please? I'm doing a whatever. And then, and absolutely worst case, as I said, you go onto their Instagram and take something off there and just credit them. There's lots of ways around it.
Okay, thank you.
Right, we're going to move on to how to make a reel, and this is I'm only focusing on one way to make reels, because there's many ways to make reels, but I don't want to overcomplicate it. And I think actually once you get your head around this way, it's actually then easy to look at how to do other things. But there are lots of different reel styles out there, and I think again we need to focus on, we're not some millennials that are, well, probably are some of us are millennials, I'm certainly not, but we're not, this generation, whatever they're called at the moment, that are creating all these crazy, content reels. We're trying to attract women of a certain age, families, So again, it's about thinking about what they're going to want to see. What are they going to really, find interesting, useful, impactful, valuable and shareable, and maybe scaling a mountain with some crazy outfit on, and I don't know, it's not really what they're going to want to see. It might just be some clips of a lovely meal, or some ideas on where to take the kids when it's raining or whatever else. So always think about that. It's always good as well just to sort of go through reels and look at what other people are doing, and what makes you take note of that reel when it flashes up. What is it that, and really think about, be mindful about what are you attracted to? Are you attracted to the background noise, the song, the audio? Are you attracted to the image? Are you attracted to the fact that it's telling you something and it's valuable and it's useful? Or are you just attracted to it because it's crazy? You know, just think about that, sit in that space and think about that for 5 minutes, and then, you know, reflect on that when you come in to make your reels, and think about how that content is going to ultimately provide what your audience wants to see. So there are 2 ways to make reels. Well, there's probably many ways, but there's 2 main ways. One is directly into Instagram on your phone, and the other one is by using a third-party app, and then creating the video content on that app, and then just loading it up onto Instagram, and then just tarting it up on Instagram. Depending on what type of phone you've got, can depend on which way you go. I am on the Samsung, so I'm on an Android. And I find Instagram, certainly reels, can be a little bit sketchy sometimes with some of the stuff that I want to do. So I have got, well, there's two apps that I use and have continued to use for the last few years, which I cannot live without when it comes to making reels and making video. The video, for example, that I'm creating, Natasha, for the quiz landing pages, is all done on my phone through Video Leap. Video Leap is free. Suggest you download it. It is brilliant. It is a really, really easy to use, intuitive video editing on your phone. You can't do it on, it's only for phones only. It's only for handheld device. It's not for laptops or anything like that. If you want something for your laptop, then you'd probably need to pay for something, but you don't really need to. You can just download this, and it is super, super easy. You just bring in your videos, you can chop them up, you can make, you know, you can filter them, you can make them lighter if it's too dark, you can add, you know, contrast. You can put music over top of them. You can overlay them with images, with writing, whatever you need to do. And that's one thing that I sometimes struggle a little bit with an Android phone, is actually overlaying text directly into Instagram. Sometimes it is easier and better to do it in that third-party app and then bring it into Instagram. And when you have a third-party app like this, you can choose the size of the screen. So, you know, it's easy. It's not like, you can choose your frame. So the frames, you know, you'll have a frame that's the same size as a story or a reel. So all you need to focus on really is just bringing your clips in, and then just take, you know, if you want to take the sound out of them and you want to put an audio over the top of them, you can do that as well. I'm not going to focus too much on that today, but if anybody wants me to do a quick Video Leap workshop tutorial, then I can do that for you. Absolutely no problem. Just give me a shout. I can do that. Mobizer, I really, really love as well. And this is a free sort of screen recorder. I talked earlier about making reels out of screen grab. So if you've created a blog post and you want to do a quick reel on, hey, look, this is what my blog post involves or has, or these are the headlines, or you can just, you know, you can basically just screen grab mini recordings. So you could do a bit of a scroll and a scroll and a scroll. You can screen grab those screens as a video clip, not as a still, because I mean you can just do a still easily enough on your device, and then you can just crop it dead easily, obviously within your device. But if you want that moving video, you know, clips of whatever's on your screen, then you can do that really easily with Mobizer. And again, if you do download that and you want me to help you and show you how to use it, then you can give me a shout and I will do that. It'll take me about 5 minutes to show you how to use that. It's so easy. Right, okay, so how to make an easy aesthetics reel. So when we talk about aesthetics, these are those reels that are really beautiful, you know, they're really lovely. They've got some really gorgeous sound behind them. And not these, you know, ones where everybody's like this all over the place. I'm not going to show you how to make those today because I struggle making those. And to be honest, they annoy the hell out of me. However, you know, if you want to do one and you want to do, I don't know, top places to dine in spring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then, you know, you want your face on your reel, do it, brilliant. But I'm not going to focus on showing you how to do those today. although another, I mean, Jenny does a really good style where she has the images and then she just has the text just drops one after another. So she'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And rather than her being in it, she'll have a different image behind it. So there's lots of ways to do reels, but I'm going to show you an easy way, the way in which I think will be best for you to go and do your intro reel as well and just get sort of to grips with it. So number 1, you open your account, and I'm going to share this with you. Oh God, I'm going to share this with you in a minute. And you can see here's my account. This is my Toronto one. Not great at the moment, but it's quite new, so don't judge. You can click on this little button here, and this little button is going to take you to everybody's reels. And these are the reels. These are your reels. This is your grid, your reels, your lives, and then this is where people have tagged you in, basically. So you're going to click on this, and it's going to take you to the reels. So this is just the reel that's popped up. So lots of them are going to pop up. You're able to scroll through them. You can see whose reels are doing really, really well, just by looking at the number under the heart. And you're going to scroll through, and you're going to listen to the audio. This is the way I'm going to teach you how to make this reel, is to start with your chosen audio rather than putting audio to something you've already created, because that's getting a little bit more, that's slightly more complicated. Oh God. So we're going to click on the audio once we have decided on the tune that we quite like. So just take note of how long some of the clips, some of these tunes are 1 second, some are 10 seconds, some are a minute. So just think about how many clips you want in your reel, and choose a reel that you like, that is going to be reflective of the content. If you've got some rapper in the background going, hey, fuck you, rama mama mama, and then putting some gorgeous sort of, beautiful mountain scenery in Wales in the background, it's probably not going to work. So think about what you're doing, think about what you want to use, flick through, choose your audio by clicking. All you need to do is click on the audio here. And as soon as you click on the audio, it will bring you up a screen with this button that says use audio, and then everybody else that's used it. So you can actually click through and you can look at how people have used it, and you'll start to see what's trending. And you'll also, when you're clicking through, you'll probably get to some of these crazy little people saying crazy things, which actually work really well in reels. So, rather than it being music, it might be somebody going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that type of thing, and you can put the clips to it then. So stuff like that, it's really about getting creative and thinking about how is that going to fit what I envision, what I want to do. If it's something about food, it could be that you choose a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't know, these are, oh no, actually that's Sound of Music, but something off a musical or something like that. I'm concerned I've got like 7 minutes left, hence the so once you have chosen your audio, you click on the audio, and then you can start to add your clips. So this is, I've clicked on the audio. You can see this is just a picture of my desk because there's nothing there yet, there's no clips. You can see this little button here. You can then click on that and it will take you to your gallery. You go and you choose your clips one at a time. Choose your clips, and then they'll come into your screen. You'll see them, they're there, whether it be images or whether it be video clips. And then you can click on here and you can click edit. And when you click on there, it'll bring you up at the bottom of the screen. It'll allow you to basically control the length of that clip. So if you're doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, you can control the clip to the music as it's playing in the background. So it could be an image, or it could be a piece of, a piece of video that you want in there. So make sure, and it'll show you along the top, you'll get a red line, so you'll know how much space you've got within that piece of music. If it's 5 seconds long, it's going to show you at the top, right, you've done 4 seconds, you've got 4 clips, you've got 1 little bit left. So once you're happy with it and you've got all your clips in and the timed right, or it might just be 1 clip and 1 beautiful piece of music, then you can click next. And then a bit like on stories, if you've used stories, you can then overlay with text. You can overlay with, you can put an effect on. So if it's something at Christmas and you want some sparkly lights on it, I'm a bit anti effects, if I'm honest. I think it can make certainly what we're doing look a bit cheesy, and I think the type of content we're putting out there is about it looking as natural, I suppose, as possible. But by all means, have a play. Stickers, voiceovers, if you want to put a voiceover over, if you want to tell the audience what's there, which is always worked really, really well, then you can put that on as well. I would always suggest you put some kind of text overlay, because if you think about it, when you're scrolling through reels, you're generally caught by as much as what you can hear that quote, whatever it is that's in the middle. So, you know, put something on there. It could be 5 best, or it could be, you know, whatever it might be, but do put something on there if there's nothing else that's giving it the, you know, if there's nothing there to tell the story, so to speak. And then when you've done that and you've added all your bits, you can, or you might not want to add any bits, depending on what you want to do. You can click next. And then basically the final phase really is just to add your caption. I think personally with Reels, you know, from a caption point of view, until you get to the point of really influencing, like somebody like Jenny, for example, actually just keeping that caption slightly shorter and sweeter, because people they can only see that first line, and then getting those hashtags in there as well. You can have up to 30, use all 30 of them. Hashtags again work really, really well in Reels. Select you can tag, if you're featuring anybody or you've used their photos, you can tag them in here, add a location, tell everybody where you are. And then share it to your feed, so it appears on your feed. You can delete it from your feed if you don't want it up there, but it will give it more visibility if it's there. You know, we've got some people like to have a very aesthetically perfect feed. Some of us not so much so. So again, depending on, you know, where you're going with how you want your grid to look, you can keep it on or you can remove it. And that, ladies, press post, which is down here somewhere. You've done your first reel. Woo! Do we have? I've got like 3 seconds remaining. I'm all right. Does that make sense? Did that help?
Can you hear me? Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Have I lost Anna? Have I scared her off?
I think
she meant
no,
about
she had